We talk a lot about AI changing the world, right? Like Varun just talked about it. But here's the real question. Is AI, sorry, yeah, here's the real question. And we also like a little personalization in our daily lives, right? So your playlist, your coffee orders, but like what about your portfolio, boss? Harsh reality, but a lot of financial advice that comes today comes with a tinge of conflict of interest and like commissions, buyers, products that benefit the advisor more than you at certain time. So our next speaker took the problem and built a solution around it. No commission, no bias, just quantitative data-driven strategies built around you, for you. He's the co-founder of FinSharpe, a SEBI-registered investment advisor. He built FinSharpe GPT, an AI tool that makes this kind of thinking accessible to every investor. And he isn't just here to discuss the theory, he's going to demonstrate live how you can construct your own AI agent for deeper market research here on. Joining Chintan Thakkar for Fireside Chat, please welcome Rohan Borawake to the stage.
Thank you for that introduction. And this is a very special moment for me because Chintan sir mentioned that in COVID, his entire team had to go home and work from home. They were the first batch of traders to ever work from home in that setup. And I was in that batch, and he was my boss's boss at OSTC. So this is very, very cool to be that, 6 years later, we're sitting together and, he's like, okay, do you want to have a conversation? I'm like, yeah, yes. He's taken my interview for the trading job. So it's particularly very special to me. And yes, AI is the hot topic, as Varun said, right? Everyone's using it in some form or the other. But are you truly using the full capabilities of AI, and what all can you do? So I thought of doing this session really focused on what are the practical applications of it. Unfortunately, I can't show you the live demo, but we'll do in the break because of some technical errors, but we'll have the relevant data play out. But yes, today I want to help everyone who's attending this session to leave with real insights, practical knowledge, and something that you can hands-on try to better your portfolio. So yes.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Rohan's very kind. I still can't remember why he got hired back in the day at OSTC, but he's clearly, I think, he deserved it. He's done extremely well since then. Took the leap of faith and start his own entrepreneurial journey much sooner than many other people that I know. So I think kudos to him and every founder, every entrepreneur in this room as well. I think, yeah, good luck to all of you. Rohan, my conversation today, what I think we'll focus on for the next 10, 15 minutes is we want to touch upon AI and we want to touch upon investing. How many of you here are not active investors in market, who don't manage your own portfolio? You have it managed by people you know or some of your financial advisors, but for various reasons, you don't know enough to take care of it yourself. अच्छा, आपने outsource कर रखा है, आपने outsource कर रखा है. Most others, you manage your own portfolios? Really? Wow. This is actually far more number of people than I anticipated. I understand markets, but मैं खुद का नहीं करता manage. I think for me, it's just too much. I'd rather have some expert do it, and I will focus on what I believe I might be good at. So Rohan, my first question to you is, if we look at different categories of people who invest in the market, not trade, this is going to be an investing and AI session, right? I would say there are retail investors, many of the people in the room. The second category is advisors. The third category is institutions. Fourth is traders. You can talk about it if you wish to. And the fifth is researchers. In 5 categories, my question is, which category of the people amongst these 5 are making the most effective use of AI in investing and all of that, and how is it that they're doing it?
Right, so there's a huge contrast in how the usage is happening. And if you were to divide it in 2 categories, it's particularly retail and institutions. So retail are using it more of like a search tool, creating images, writing content, then videos, various, I think, even the chat GPT commercials, if you see, they're targeted towards very simple use cases because that application layer is a whole different game, and that's how people are using it in the first go. But I would say that the real novel use of AI is being used by institutions. Institutions are using it not as a querying tool, but more like a workflow, as productivity managing measures, as evaluation, governance, tracking, optimizing, automation, various other tasks. But yeah, institutions, particularly in finance, are going to change the game, right? So I think just last week, Ken Griffin said that the game has now changed with, we are using this at scale. And I mean, AI to create alpha as such in financial markets is still too early again. Even
It's
though
debatable as well, right? There is not enough evidence that AI can actually help you create alpha.
yes, absolutely. But for analysis, for factual analysis, harnessing data, definitely it's being used to a very great extent. And that's what we want to do it. That's what we want to provide retail investors.
Understood. Okay, fair enough. How is it that you think people or firm like yourselves who are investment advisors, in what different ways would you or other advisors in this room be using it, and what are some of the things that they could be doing but are not doing?
Yes, so if you come to the core of it, right, any AI model needs good quality data, and any AI model needs, some know-how of how to use it. Now, when it comes to financial markets, unfortunately, it's not a very easy problem. LLMs are probabilistic in nature, but in finance, you need math, and that is deterministic. You need the exact numbers. The numbers need to be right. You can't just have a probability that the numbers will be right. So there is a big gap, and that's why AI in finance is very hard to crack. Now, that being said, for, let's say, investment advisors, for wealth managers, what's happening is that there are some tasks which usually take a lot of time. And as I said, the input data, it's scattered, it's everywhere. You want to take pricing data, there's another vendor, fundamental data, corporate actions, company filings. There's a lot of data sets, alternate data sets. And once you take this data, you take it and you harness it using, let's say, Excel, Python code, and so on and so forth. So what AI is doing, it has unified everything, and the world is moving towards a more chat-driven interface from a button-driven interface. So, and you don't really, nowadays, users are not coming and saying that, okay, I want to learn this software, I learn the know-how. The idea is there and the framework is there, and you're talking to systems in natural language. And that's how advisors are also using it to enhance their practice, to scale up their practice with a very small team. And if we can have a video played, I can show you the portfolio management use case.
Yeah, I think Siddhi, backstage. Is it possible to play the video, you think, or should we do it in the break?
So the portfolio analysis video is what I want to show.
You can let us know when it's ready. Until then, I think we can probably. Rohan, my next question is for every individual investor out here in this room today. What are some of the things that they can do better with? In your experience, किन चीज़ों को पहले बहुत time लगता था, which can be done now a lot faster with the use of AI? So where can they become better, and what can be done faster?
Right. So as the way LLMs are constructed, these apps are constructed, it's more towards generic things, more towards general intelligence. And retail users are using that. So for example, if you go and say something like, tell me any random number between, let's say, 1 to 100, it'll always give you the same number because everyone's asking that, and there are various reasons for it. But how retail users can truly use AI is creating sort of a mini personalized agent and workflow rather than just having it as a search or query tool. Okay, so I think, this has loaded. It's the portfolio prompt, right? Yeah.
Do you want to play it?
Yeah.
Play
no,
this?
No, that's fine. So if you see, what you can do is you can create a project. We have created a project here, and there's memory, instructions, and files. So you're not using AI just as a querying tool, but you're actually using it as a mini agent, and Claude projects is very underrated. You can fully have a agent set up here. So what I've done is I've input my portfolio here, and I've given you an example of what would happen if you don't use FinSharpe GPT. So if you don't use connected data sets, and that's the problem of input data, the best thing that's going to happen is that AI is going to look up the web, um, move towards general intelligence of how generally things are done, how generally portfolios are managed. But as personal finance, the word says, it's personal, it's different for everyone, and it needs fine-tuning, it needs a lot of other aspects to be looked at. It can't be very generic. So what advisors are doing and how advisors are using this for portfolio analysis. Now, this is an example of what would happen if you take your portfolio, go to Claude, and this is the Opus 4.7 model, so it's frontier, it's one of the best models. So the report, it can't get better than this as of now. But if you see the analysis, it's very generic. It does not have fundamental data. It does not have context. It does not have workflows or tools in that aspect to analyze or the taxonomy of how investment analysis works. So it's going to give you a general answer. But in the other example, which is now playing in, is we have used FinSharpe GPT and we have run the same prompt and we have given the same portfolio and said, okay, now analyze this portfolio. So if you see, it's making different tool calls. We have paid data sets connected to the system, workflows. We have trained these, let's say, MCP servers to do certain things. And in the project that I showed you, you can really give specific instructions, update memory, upload a file system. So all these things, and this is how I believe investors or anyone should be using AI. These tools are available largely for free. Not the market data, but everything else. So if you see, the earlier report was like a 6-page short report, but this one is much more in-depth, and it has given you a full drill down between fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and so on and so forth. So the point, again, it's too complex probably and too fast, but the central point that I'm trying to make is that instead of using AI just as a querying tool, it should be used as a workflow with, let's say, system instructions, file system, managed as a project, connect proprietary good quality data sets, and then use it, because otherwise it's as good as just as a web search.
Fair enough.
That's it.
So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, and to recap what Rohan said, he showed us 2 examples. In the first example, very simply, he downloaded all his stock holdings and mutual fund holdings, gave it to a AI like a Claude, and asked the AI to do the analysis. Is that about right? Now, when you do that, the information that AI tool is going to look back at is the information available on public domain, right? So अगर आप कुछ models के बारे में query कर रहे हो या anything you are asking about your portfolio, all the research and output that will come with will be based on information that is available in public domain. And it is not looking at the right data source to do that analysis. Whereas I think what Rohan also said is, if you want to do a more factual analysis, their firm FinSharpe have built what is a FinSharpe MCP connector, right? Which you can add as a module with Claude and ask the same query to Claude, enabling the FinSharpe GPT connector, and the analysis that you will get, जो वहाँ पे दिखा रहा था, calling API. So any analysis that gets done with the MCP connector enabled will be done basis the actual data and not just information on internet. Is that the right way to sort of summarize and put it?
Right, absolutely. So that's the way to go about with any application. I mean, don't just trust what the output is because it's likely a web search. You need to go to the sources, understand how it's happening and what's built behind it. So yes.
Fair enough. My next question, and maybe last second question, and then we'll probably have audience also maybe ask him questions if they have any. Rohan, अगर AI इतनी speed से यहाँ पे आगे बढ़ रहा है, and if everyone is eventually going to have access to the same AI tools, where do you think the real edge or the edge will come in investing from investors like ourselves?
Yeah, so again, alpha generation from AI is still a big question mark. And if everyone gets access to the same tools, we are back to square one. Today also we have access to tools. The access was never really a major problem. The access was there, it was a little bit hard, now it's much easier. But to give you and to demonstrate that difference, if you can have, Siddhi, if you can have the video of comparison of mutual funds play out. So it's very simple. If you use the same Claude app, and if you prompt it with and without, let's say, using data sets or with a different model, the output is different. For a simple question such as, tell me compare, let's say, an HDFC FlexiCap or Active FlexiCap fund. Every model is giving a different answer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that's the inherent problem with it, that everyone is going to be confused. There's a lot of information. Everyone is going to have the tools, but it's not going to be like, oh, everyone has AI now. It's going to be hard to sort of even make basic returns. No, that's not going to be the case. So that's how we are seeing it. But again, from a very, so if you go to the institutional part of it, right, there is a big difference that's happening. But for retail investors, as of how things stand right now, the predictive power or it's more random. It's not there yet.
Fair enough. Final question, and then we open it up. If you had to list down top two, maybe three things that you're currently working on at FinSharpe in terms of AI agentic space, very simple words that, let's say, general audience can understand outside of the institutional traders or that as well. Top two, three exciting things.
Right. So we want to give the power of institutional investors to retail investors in a very simple way. The way we have built FinSharpe GPT is very simple. It's going to be something like you come to the app, talk to the portfolio or talk to the agent and say, okay, import my data from something like an accounts aggregator, all your holdings, wherever they may be scattered around different broking accounts, different asset classes, and so on and so forth. It will be imported in FinSharpe GPT through secure and encrypted ways. After that, the retail investor only cares about, tell me what's affecting my investments today, right? So this is where autonomous agents keep running for you in the background. So the agent's actually really working for you while you're asleep. And that can really help in terms of nudging you in terms of risk management, optimizing your portfolio. And I'm not saying, okay, it's going to predict and tell you what to do tomorrow, right? But it's going to be a very guided pathway. So that's what we are building, very simple use cases in terms of autonomous agents. Second is deep agents. So research that would otherwise take a lot of time, multiple data sets, toggling between multiple apps, that will be simplified. So you can say something like, there's a war situation going on. Tell me the sectors and momentum. After that, tell me, let's say, the top 3 sectors that I can invest in, and then in that, the top 3 stocks that I should have a look at. So this query is very complex. It's multi-threaded, but FinSharpe GPT will really do the complex heavy lifting in the back end and give you these ideas or insights in natural language. So autonomous agents and deep agents for retail use cases in a very, very simplified manner is what we are primarily working on.
Fair enough. Okay, excellent. That's I think everything from my side. We can maybe take 1 or 2 questions if anybody has them. Yes, please. Yeah, I think there's quite a few. If we can stick to one gentleman here and maybe one you, and then Rohan is here for some more time. I think please, he'll be available to chat. But do you want to use my mic for the question?
What is it that makes different AI agents give different results, as you said that? Is that some sort of affiliation with different search engines or whatnot?
Yeah, so the difference is in the model, right? If the different models are trained on different data sets, let's say frontier models are 300, 400 billion parameters. A small language model could be anywhere between 5 billion or less parameters. So it's what you have trained the model on, what type of data you have, and that's what makes it different. And secondly, the input data, right? So in finance, there is no one such thing as what is the best stock. Right? You ask it today, you ask it tomorrow. Every instant, it's it's changing, right? So by definition, that's how the models are made. So even if you ask basic queries, the models are going to give you different answers. That's how they are constructed.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
can.
So my question was like, how it make different if I have a MCP server for suppose. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So like how it make different if I have a MCP server of my account, suppose for my broking account, and I connect it with Claude and do the same analysis, and I have some data APIs fetching from the broker API or any specific thing, how it make difference? And the second question is like, if I am feeding your system with my data or my holding, how it's reliable, like for me, like the data
Yeah.
is safe with you or any specific point?
Right. So two things. One, if you connect raw data, then there is no insights layer, right? So
No,
raw
no.
data with, you're connecting broker's MCP to your Claude.
No, no. Currently, no broker provide any MCP. First of all, like it's if I have make an insight or any specific MCP which is connected with Claude directly. So how your layers help me to like fine tune my that particular data specific data sets and getting the output. And you mentioned like we can feed all our broker account data or any specific holding data to your system and we can get the complete insight. So my question is like if I'm feeding all of the data, so it would be in your server or any specific point like in my Cloud.
So you don't have to feed the data, right? We're doing all the heavy lifting for you. We already have taken purchase data for fundamentals, company filings, various other data sets, and consolidated it into one, let's say, powerful tool. If you have to do it by yourself, you'll have to individually do it with every part of it. And secondly, on top of that, we have analytics data. So for example, when we say something like a growth or momentum score in quant terms, momentum can mean 100 things, but we have crunched the numbers for you. We are following a factor-based approach where we have done the calculation of momentum. So now you don't have to code it and calculate it on runtime. So when you say momentum, it will be trained. The taxonomy or the things that are relevant in quant finance are already there in our MCP server. So that's the difference. Raw data, analytics data, FinSharpe insights, and then your data, personalized insights. So that's how it works.
So like the connector is connected through Claude or like you have any system?
Yeah, so I think if you, I'm happy to answer these questions offline, and I'll give you a free access demo to it also, so you can see it in much more depth. But yeah, the short answer is that you can use it in Claude, you can use it in any AI. We are building an app for it also, so that's the idea.
I really appreciate the enthusiasm. I think Rohan will be here. Is it okay to wait, or is it really something you have to ask? You want, yeah, I think Rohan is happy to take one last question. Sorry, we can, if you're okay. By the way, while the mic gets there, there is something that Rohan and we were discussing is for everybody in this room, everybody who is part of the audience today, if you want to experience what FinSharpe GPT is, we will make it available via one of the dedicated sort of groups within the Triple ML community that we have. Rohan will be out there. He'll be sort of, he or somebody from his team will be managing that group, and I think we'll make it available. So for those of you who want to explore it, Rohan, I suppose you'll be okay to offer it on a trial basis. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, my name is Prachi. So I want to understand the prediction model much better. I'm myself a full-time trader, so I'm trying to understand that using the historical volatile data like IV spikes and all the prior moments of price action, based on that model, can I predict that what can be the probabilistic IV spikes and the movements of price?
Yes, so I mean, forecasting is a different ballgame altogether, but the way to do it is that you take past data, and there's something like a Monte Carlo simulation that you can run several simulations in, let's say by taking mean variance of the past of the data set that you have, taking the distribution of that data set, and then trying to have what if scenarios in the future that, you know, what would happen if the spike changes by, let's say, some XYZ percentage, and you run 10,000 of those, and then you have the final data set which you can use. So in FinSharpe GPT, actually, we have built that for quant. So to do that, you'll need certain libraries, okay? You'll need forecasting simulation libraries, vector BT, there is like other, you know, PyTorch, many other libraries that you would need to have, and you would need to have good quality input data, which is correctly indexed, which has correct timestamps matched with, you know, the data frame has to be very clean and neat. And yeah, so forecasting is a whole different topic altogether. But if the short answer is yes, you can have simulations and you can have what-if scenarios run. But whether it's reliable or not, I think Chintan sir will tell you we have done a lot of forecasting. But when it comes to the real stuff, slippage and practicality of it, it's different, especially in options.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. That's the end of our session. Thank you so much for being kind, patient, and listening.